The storm had passed, washing the prairie clean, leaving a silence that felt heavy with unspoken words. But peace is a fleeting thing in the West. I stood on the porch, my arm still throbbing from the last fight. A stark reminder of the violence we thought we'd left behind. Inside, I could hear Clara, moving with a quiet grace, her hands folded over her belly. She was humming a lullaby, a tune she could barely remember, a fragile melody of hope. We truly believed the worst was over. We were wrong. Just as the sun began to spill its first golden light across the valley, the silence shattered. A single gunshot ripped through the morning air. The bullet splintered the porch post, right beside my head, showering me with wooden shrapnel. I hit the ground hard, my eyes instinctively scanning the ridge. There, half shrouded by the morning mist, was a lone rider, the same shadow from the night before. In that chilling instant, I knew it wasn't over. My father hadn't returned, but he had sent someone else. Someone to finish what he couldn't. The rider drew closer, his long coat flapping in the breeze like the wings of a vulture. He held a rifle loosely in one hand, but his posture screamed danger. "Rhett Carson!" His voice was like gravel, scraping across the quiet valley. "By order of the United States Army, you're under arrest for desertion, theft, and treason." I recognized him then. Cole Maddox, a bounty hunter who'd once been loyal to my father, a man whose heart and soul were for sale to the highest bidder. His eyes were as cold and empty as a winter sky. Clara stepped out onto the porch, her voice trembling but firm. "Please, he's done nothing wrong." Maddox let out a low, sneering laugh. "Ma'am, wrong or right doesn't matter much to the Army. All they care about is the price." He leveled the rifle, aiming it squarely at my chest. I scrambled for cover, shouting back, "You'll have to take me alive!" And just like that, the world exploded into chaos. Gunfire echoed across the open fields, the sound rolling like thunder through the hills. I returned fire from behind the old water trough, my bullets sparking off the iron pump. Maddox dismounted, circling me like a wolf cornering its prey. "Your daddy paid me double," he taunted, his voice laced with a cruel amusement. "Said if I couldn't bring you back, I best not let you live." His words were a death sentence, signed by my own father. Inside the small house, Clara crouched by the window, clutching the small revolver I had given her for protection. Her hands shook, but her eyes, they burned with a fierce, unwavering resolve. Outside, the fight was taking its toll. My wounded shoulder screamed in protest, reopening with a fresh burst of pain. I stumbled, and Maddox saw his chance. He closed in, the sneer returning to his face. "You got your mama's temper, boy, and your daddy's pride. Neither'll save you now." He cocked the hammer of his rifle, the click echoing the final beat of my heart. But then, another gunshot rang out, and it wasn't his. Clara stood in the doorway, a thin wisp of smoke rising from the barrel of her revolver. Maddox staggered back, a dark crimson bloom spreading rapidly across his chest. He looked down in disbelief, then up at her, his cold eyes wide with shock. His rifle clattered to the dirt. I stared, stunned. "Clara!" She dropped the gun, the strength finally leaving her as tears streamed down her face. "No one takes you from me," she choked out, her voice raw with love and fear. "Not now. Not ever." Maddox collapsed into the dust, his shadow vanishing along with the last of the morning mist. In the days that followed, the story unraveled. The sheriff from town came out to the ranch. He read the letter, heard the truth of what my father had done, listened to our story, and officially cleared my name. Word spread like wildfire through the valley. The truth about Captain Carson's crimes, about Eli Bell's quiet honor, and about the courage of a woman defending her home. The whole valley knew now. there were no more shadows to hide in. By the time spring returned, the ranch had begun to heal, and so had we. The fields turned a vibrant green, the fences were mended, and a genuine peace finally settled over our land. Then one quiet night, as the wind howled outside, like a distant memory of the storms we'd weathered, Clara went into labor. Inside there was only warmth, the soft glow of the lamplight, the hushed words of encouragement, and then the most beautiful sound I had ever heard, the cry of new life entering the world. I held the tiny child in my arms, my eyes wet with a profound, overwhelming awe. "It's a boy," I whispered, my voice thick with emotion. "Eli would have liked that." Clara smiled, exhausted but radiant. "What will we call him?" she asked softly. I looked out the window at the dawn sky, painted in brilliant shades of red and gold. "Eli Carson Bell," I said, the name feeling solid and true on my tongue, a name built on both truth and love. Months passed, turning into a season of bloom and renewal. The prairie was covered in wildflowers, a tapestry of vibrant color. I'd worked the fields with our son, strapped to my chest, his small warmth a constant, comforting weight. I'd watch Clara hang fresh laundry, the white sheets billowing in the breeze, like surrender flags to a peaceful life. The scars on our hands told stories of hardship and survival, but our smiles spoke louder. They spoke of forgiveness, of second chances, of building a future from the ashes of the past. One evening, as the sun sank low, casting long shadows across the land, I found an old cavalry medal, half buried in the dirt near the barn. It was the same one my father used to wear with so much pride. I picked it up, brushed the dirt away, and walked over to the old oak tree. I placed it at the base of the trunk and whispered, "Rest now, Father. The war's over." Clara came up beside me, her hand slipping into mine. "Do you ever think of leaving?" she asked, her gaze on the vast horizon. I smiled, a real easy smile. "No," I said, squeezing her hand. "Everything I ever ran from led me right here, to you." We stood there together, under a vast red sky, our son cooing softly in her arms, and as the wind rolled across the plains, it felt like it carried the last whisper of ghosts long forgiven, and the first hopeful cry of a new beginning. Thank you so much for joining us on this journey. If you enjoyed our story, please don't forget to like, subscribe, and hit that notification bell so you don't miss what's next. We'll see you in the next one.